Hey guys, Desolate Magic here, back from being sick 2 more times. No offense to any humans watching, but I hate you, and y'all need to stop breathing on me, alright? But let's jump in with the end of the spoilers, starting with Treacherous Greed. So it's a 3-cost black-white rare instant, so you might be thinking, oh, I know what this does. No, they actually went off the beaten path. So as an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature that dealt damage this turn, and then draw 3 cards. Each opponent loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. That is pretty nuts. If you can pull that off, I mean, there are, red cards that you can tap that'll do damage. It doesn't technically say combat damage, it just says damage. And in fact, the way it's worded, I assume that if it does damage to you, that it would still have, quote, done damage this turn, which is more of a black effect. So that card might be a little bit of a sleeper when people figure it out. But next up, we got Undergrowth Recon from the initial images of the set. It's a double green 3-cost mythic enchantment. That usually means it's overpowered. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Okay, that's not for standard. Well, the whole dang set ain't for standard, and it's very tonally and mechanically confused. But yeah, this would be nuts with Evolving Wilds or any variant of it for any kind of landfall deck, which are picking up steam after the last time they reprinted it. So yeah, that is bonkers. Cards like that, and I'm going to do it later, really make me want to know what, like, the most expensive, top 10 cards in this set are going to be. I might even do top 15, because otherwise it's just a list of mythics. And if you are curious, too, where that lands right before release on the pre-release prices, subscribe, because I will be making that video. So next up, we got a case of the Crimson Pulse. Ooh, that's 3 spoopy, 5 me. When this case enters the battlefield, discard a card, then draw 2 cards, okay? To solve, you have no cards in hand. By the way, people are going nuts online about how these are phrased. It's like AI wrote it and clearly doesn't speak English. Anyway, solved at the beginning of your upkeep, discard your hand, then draw 2 cards. So it's just a red engine for, like, reloading in case your stupid little Glass Cannon Storm deck failed, I guess. I don't know. I hate it. I hate Izzet. I hate everything about this archetype in the set. Next up, we got Hunted Bone Brute. Ooh, you're good doggo. Both of them. So it's a 3-cost 6/2 skeleton beast with menace, because of course it is. And when it enters battlefield, target opponent creates 2 1/1 white dog creature tokens. Well, thank you. When Hunted Bone Brute dies, each opponent loses 3 life. Okay, and then Disguise 2, which I already forgot what that is. They got, like, in this set, there are, like, sets of 2 mechanics that are almost identical, but a little bit different, and it's pissing everybody off. Like, seriously, go on any kind of social media that doesn't have a bunch of censorship from, angry moderators that want to kiss WotC's ass, and look what people think of this set. It is, like, even worse than my opinion of it. Anyway, this is insensitive, WotC, to people who are allergic to dogs, okay? So, like, you need to do better. Hashtag do better. But next up, we got Cryptex, which is a 2-cost rare artifact colorless. Oh, this gonna be good. Tap it, collect evidence 3. To collect evidence 3, exile cards with total mana value 3 or greater from your graveyard. Okay, pretty doable. Add 1 mana of any color, then put an unlock counter on it. Then, if you sack it, surveil 3, then draw 3 cards. Activate only if it has 5 or more unlock counters. Your graveyard would have to be packed to play this. This really legitimately isn't a very good card, unless you're not using it for its straightforward, like, on-its-face mechanic. Because there are all kinds of other things you can do with that. Next up, Ezrim, Agency Chief. Okay, it looks like he's wearing the fur armor from Skyrim. Good luck on seeing that, except he, like, veloured it out. He's got a classy hat. He's coming in on, the Mad Whip with the flamboyant weapon. I was going to say flaming weapon, but, I meant flamboyant. He's rolling up like a pimp. He got the velour sweats on, okay? If you zoom in close enough, you can see it says FUBU right on it. Anyway, Mr. Legendary Creature Archon Detective costs 2 blue, 2 white plus 1 generic, and he's a 5/5 flyer. And when Ezrim Chief Pimp enters the battlefield, investigate twice. You get a clue token. Then if you pay 1 and sacrifice an artifact, I wonder what type that could be, Ezrim gains your choice of Vigilance, Lifelink, or a freaking Hexproof until end of turn. Vigilance is nice. You could use it. Lifelink is way nicer. And Hexproof is insane. That's every one of your clues is basically a miniature counterspell. You know, not a good one, but that is nutty. This card is insane. I actually kind of love this because it's not like game breaking, but it's interesting. It's powerful, but it's not like annoying powerful. So next up we got Lost in the Maze. It's 2 blue plus 1 X, rare blue enchantment. Oh god. Flash. Oh god. When it enters the battlefield, it's just, you just know. You get a feeling and you're like, oh, this is going to be one of those. Okay. When it enters the battlefield, tap X target creatures, put a stun counter on each of those creatures you don't control, which means they don't untap for X amount, or well, 1% counter. But then tapped creatures you control have hexproof. Oh, so it's like an emergency counter spell that also shuts them down. That's actually kind of interesting and not terrible. This is actually like pretty good. I am 100% putting that in my commander deck. Next up, we've got Urgent Necropsy, whatever that is. I think it would be necropsy, but who cares? Nobody speaks Latin. Doctors are dickbags. So this is a mythic. Watch out for that. 2 color 2 and it's 4. Okay, whatever this does, it's going to be completely batshit. Alright, so 1 black, 1 green, 2 generic as an additional cost to cast a spell, collect evidence X, where X is the total mana value of the permanents the spell targets. Oh my gosh, just wipe out your graveyard and then probably wipe them out, right? Okay, destroy up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target creature, and up to 1 target enchantment, and up to 1 target planeswalker. Okay, all right. And then the CMC of what you're targeting, they don't use the term CMC, but, you know, I do, and you guys know what I'm talking about. Just saying. But the total mana value, or converted mana costs, however old you are, of everything you target has to be matched by everything in your graveyard. So, kind of fair. I mean, you could scale this down to early game. It's still 4 mana no matter what. But, man, you could do some damage with this. Next up, one of the few that hasn't been, I guess, translated yet or whatever, but you know what I mean. So, Forensic Toolsmith, it's a 3 cost 2/3 creature, Vidalcan Artificer Detective. Count the fingers on your own time. I have better things to do. It's an old Vidalcan thing. People are like, why is this inconsistent? And Watsy's like, no, we did it on purpose, totally. Anyway, when you cast an artifact spell, investigate. Oh, geez. Activated abilities of artifacts you control cost 1 less to activate. Okay. And this effect can't reduce the mana in that cost to less than 1. Hey, we've seen stuff like this. You know, it's obviously like this set's, every set from Standard is half Commander Horizons. That's a Commander Horizons card. That's not meant for anything we're playing right now. Now, I've seen people play Blue Artificer stuff. You can do it, but you're going to lose. The power level is so stupidly high, you play one of like 5 decks or you get stomped. Next up, another 4-in-1, but it's in French, so I'll work my way through it manually, damn it. It's Affaire du Festin de la Serre. What would you do when there's 2 accent marks? The whole point is it's where you put the emphasis in the word. How the hell do you put one on 2 E's? How do you, what? Just shut up, French. Shut up. We hate you. I'm switching back to English. So it's a 1 cost enchantment case rare. Holy crap. Okay, that's weird. When a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. Oh, because we needed more of that. Okay, that's one of the dominant decks in the game right now. Kind of got overtaken by white mono angels and white enchantments, but white green enchantments took over for that. And yeah, white life gain is like 37 steps behind. This might actually be enough to bring it back, but I don't know. We'll need a white saver spell, which I think we actually had in the set. So to solve, you have gained at least 5 life this turn. So in other words, yes. Then solved, sacrifice this case. So it's not instant. It just gains the ability to do this. Now, does it lose the first ability? Nobody knows. Literally nobody knows. But yeah, you sack it, and then all creatures in your graveyard gain, you can cast this card from your graveyard until end of turn. Okay. I feel like this should be mythic. Next up, Conspiracy Unraveler. That's right, get a Sphinx on the case if you want to actually solve it. It's a 7 cost 6/6 creature Sphinx detective with flying, and you may collect evidence 10 rather than pay the mana cost for spells that you cast. So 10 total CMC of stuff in your graveyard, and you can just go on a free casting spree. Well, this is an auto-include, obviously, in certain decks that don't want to whiff on what they're actually going for, which is Phyrexian Portal. And if you've seen the deck, you've seen the deck. I don't need to explain it. And if you don't, I'll just save you the PTSD. It's awful. Next up, we got Lamplight Phoenix. It's a 3 cost double red 3/3 creature Phoenix, because we need another Phoenix in the game. They historically totally have not been utterly broken. Don't check me on that. And when it dies, you may exile it and collect evidence for, if you do, return Lamplight Phoenix to the battlefield tapped. Oh, so eventually you get a nuke your graveyard, and red doesn't really have self-feeding, so that's fine. Well, it's cards, not permanents. So, I mean, you could, start chucking some red, instants and sorceries in there. We all know that the biggest benefit from this, collect evidence crap is going to be blue, because they just sit there and scry draw, counterspell. So obviously they're going to have 10 plus at any given time. Which means 1+ color control is going to be even more annoying. Oh boy. Next up, Leyline of the Guild Pact. It's that combination. If Leyline of the Guild Pact is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. We're doing that again, apparently. Each non-land permanent you control is all colors. Great. Taste the rainbow. And lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. Is domain still legal? I feel like it is. It might not be, though. It either just rotated out or it just barely missed rotation. I don't know. I drafted against it, but that, we draft stuff that ain't legal on Arena, so, I don't know. This is either going to be really annoying in Standard somehow, or it's going to be really annoying outside of Standard. Well, that's a given no matter what. Next up, we got Doorkeeper Thrall. It's a 2-cost white 1/2 with flash and flying. Artifact and creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. Hey, speaking of nothing to do with what I just read, yes or no in the comments section, should I start streaming Pal World? There's probably a Palamon or whatever that looks like this. So it reminded me. That little 2-cost jammer with flash, that's actually pretty clever. I like cards like this. Next up, it's Outrageous Robbery, 2-cost black plus X, instant, and target opponent exiles the top X cards of their library face down. You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana as or mana of any type to cast it. What, your deck is so crap you gotta play mine? Piss off. This is garbage. Now, a multiplayer commander, you're going to get some traction out of this, because you'll know about what the archetype is pretty darn quick and be like, I need some of those. I need control. I need kill. I need bigger creatures, Next up, we got Incinerator of the Guilty, one of the 69 different frames in the set. So it's a 6-cost, 6/6 flying trample, dragon, of course, and when it deals combat damage to a player, you may collect evidence X. When you do, so just nuke your graveyard and win. Isn't that what it is? Oh, no, doesn't hit their life total. Okay, I had to read ahead on that one. Incinerator the Guilty deals X damage to each creature and each planeswalker that player controls. So you hit someone and you board wipe. I mean, it's 6/6 for 6 with no self-protection, but still, this is it's kind of one-shotty, but it's also kind of neat. I don't know. Next up, we've got Yaris, Roar of the Toyota. That might not be correctly translated. It's a 4-cost, crisp is colored 4/4 legendary creature centaur druid, and wow, he looks even more hipster than somebody from Seattle. Holy crap! Other creatures you control have haste. Okay, we haven't had that in a while actually. More of a Theros thing, but hey. When one or more face down creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Although, I mean, they're 2/2s, generally, so, But whenever a face-down creature you control dies, return to the battlefield face down. Oh, I thought I was going to say face up for sure. Under its owner's control, if it's a permanent card, then turn it face up. Oh, I knew it! Because then you get the turn face up effect. I knew it! This guy's overpowered as hell. This is ridiculous. It's narrow, but it's stupid powerful. Speaking of that, next up we got Expedited Inheritance, a 2-cost mythic red enchantment. These are always overpowered. Whenever a creature is dealt damage, its controller may exile that many cards from the top of their library. They may play those cards until the end of their next turn. I've read that 4 times. When any creature in play, yours or theirs, is dealt damage, its controller, so any one of the players, you, them, whatever, so whoever controls that one creature or more, can exile cards from the top of their library. They may play those cards until the end of their next turn. This actually affects you less than them unless you hit them on not your turn. Or wait, well, I mean, if you swing with yours and they don't block, but if they do block, then you both get it simultaneously, but they get your turn plus their turn, and you only get until the end of your turn. I guess they're going back, the pendulum swung really far the other way. Remember back in the day when every single set had a horrifically bad red mythic in it? Like Comet Storm? Guess we're doing a throwback with this one. Next up, I guess we've got the opposing boss pimp, hero of the 10th district. The more you look at it, the worse it gets. What the hell are you wearing? Anyway, 2 cost, 2/3 creature human. If you pay 2, and you can also collect evidence too, this becomes a 4/4 human detective with vigilance. And then if you pay 3, collect evidence 4, if this already is a detective, which it is not, it's creature human. So it's a step up, it's a level up card basically. This becomes a legendary creature named Chief Inspector Maleva with base power and toughness 5/5, and has other creatures you control have indestructible except against pimp hands. That pimp slap do be powerful. Yeah, you're investing a lot, but you're getting a lot, and it starts at 2 instead of 1. It's borderline power appropriate. It's just a good card. It doesn't give indestructible to itself. Yeah, just pointing that out. Next up, Officious Interrogation. Oh, it's a blue-white instant. Come on. So this spell costs exactly the same, 1 of each. More to cast for each target beyond the first, also known as Strive. Choose any number of target players, investigate X times, where X is the total number of creatures those players control. Okay, so you could just get a ridiculous amount of clues. So any number of target players, I mean, come on, it's a story spotlight card. Yeah, it's just for Commander. It's for multiplayer, but it says players, not opponents. You can at least target you and them for 4 mana. Oh, wow. It says no guest was permitted to leave before being questioned in an Azorius Verity circle. Why didn't they think of that before? I really should read this story, but people have warned me not to because it's absolute BS. But yeah, all the magic that they got, all the law magic and stuff, and then the fact that like literally everybody on the initial artwork is guilty of killing someone at some point. And then the inconsistent art, the rumor is they rushed this and they smashed 2 together, and this was originally supposed to be Capenna, but then we went back to like Ravnica for no reason. And then for some reason, that jackass Desolator Magic thinks that we're in Markov Manor. Or wait, no, I think I got it wrong again. Karlov Manor? I don't know where the hell we are. It says MKM. It could be any of those places. I don't fucking know. If only there was an easy way to find out. Oh well. What even is this video? I'm just sick of being sick. All right, so let's go to some more Azorius, who are those assholes? Izzet. Let's go to some more Izzet crap. Disturbing Explosion. It's a 4-cost Izzet colored nightmare sorcery. Draw 2 cards, then you may discard 2 cards. When you do, Disturbing Explosion deals X damage to each creature, so every single one in play, where X is equal to the highest mana value among these cards. It's a translation. I'm not going to pick apart the obvious reference issue there with the pronouns, but, or are those articles? You know, who cares? But, like, I assume they mean the discarded ones. Just annoying. Another way for Izzet spell spam to win by getting rid of all the creatures. Next up, Illicit Masquerade. It's a 4-cost... Why is the guy from Star Wars on that? Anyway, 4-cost enchantment, flash, cool, and when it enters the battlefield, put an imposter counter on each creature you control. I still don't remember what the hell that does. Then whenever a creature you control with an imposter counter on it dies, exile it, return up to 1 other target creature card from the graveyard to the battlefield. There is so much recurring shit in this set. I swear to God, it is going to break every format. This is so lazy, untested, and they're just trying to be unique. You know what? Yoda's on here too. Wait a minute. You got Yoda, you got Darth Emo Douche. Okay, who's that guy? Let's see. I don't know who the 2 in the back are. There's a lot of Star Wars movies I haven't seen. What in the hell is going on? Anyway, we got Audience with the Trostani. Here's another god-awful frame, because why not? If you're going to tonally confuse the mechanics to art and the story, you might as well do the frames too. Well, this gaudy number here is a 3-cost green sorcery. Create a 0/1 green plant creature token I can read, then draw cards equal to the number of differently named creature tokens you control, because diversity. This, like, actually could be really good. Next up, Reenact the Crime. Why don't they just arrest everyone in Ravnica? Literally every single person, they're all terrible. This is like Warhammer 40k where they just don't believe in having the good guys. So anyway, it's a triple blue 4-cost instant. So blue AF. Exile target non-land card in a graveyard that was put there from anywhere this turn. Copy it. Great. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. I'd rather intercept it in real time and clone it. This actually isn't even that good of a spell. I mean, from anywhere, you can just pull off more, like, overpowered crap, you know, without paying its mana cost, more free casting trash, but, I don't know. I hate it. If you're playing blue graveyard stuffer, you're going to have stuff in your graveyard. I'm just saying. Next up, Ansrag's Rampage. Of course, that's the name of the mole god, because apparently Ravnica, or wherever the hell we are, has a mole god now that we never knew about. Surprise. It's almost like it was supposed to be in Capenna. Anyway, it's a 5-cost red sorcery. Destroy all artifacts you don't control, then exile the top X cards or library, where X is the number of artifacts that were put into graveyards from the battlefield this turn. Ha ha! Take that, the man and the system. Clues? Here's a clue for you. Mole time. This is a story spotlight. What, was he the murderer? He probably murdered some people. This is the dumbest set, I swear to God. Oh, you know who probably also is the murderer? Massacre Girl. Huh. And the entirety of that one red-black guild. I don't remember the name. I hate them. Whoever they are. Oh yeah, Rakdos. Anyway, you may put a creature card exiled this way onto the battlefield. It gains haste. Return it to your hand at the beginning of next end step. For some reason, they threw that on there. Okay. I'm not sure I entirely follow this, but I hate it, so let's move on. Next up, Hide in Plain Sight. It's a 4-cost. I guarantee there is nobody in that artwork. Anyway, 4-cost green sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, cloak 2 of them, whatever the hell that means. Then put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. Oh, it becomes a 2/2. That's why they were saying if it can flip up, because you could do something really stupid, like an instant. Kind of like Manifest. Okay, I get it. So what are the consequences and strategy of this? I don't give a shit. Oh, thank God that's the last card. I don't even want to edit this. I'm so done with this set. So is everybody. It's just absolutely terrible. Can't wait to see what they come up with now that they have 30% less staff. Because remember, they made this, fully designed it, tested it with full staff. This is going to get good. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys next time.